Hi everybody, it's Terry,
And Katie.
and we're dropping in because we got some news. So we have an update. I know we were going to wait till the next chemo, but we got some good news, and we wanted to share an update. But first, we're going to the beach. We're getting ready to leave right now, actually. But right after this video, we're going to leave for the beach. So sorry to rub it in everybody's face who's not at the beach, but we get to go to the beach. As you can see here, her little port is healed very nicely. Little bump, not bad. But the news we wanted to share is we got our genetics testing back for Katie, and she's actually negative for all the genes that happen to deal with breast cancer, the BRCA1, 2, TP53, all that. There's a whole list. They did like 13 tests, but she's negative for all. So that's very good news. We were very excited and shocked and surprised because, for me at least, I felt like all the doctors and all of what has already happened with the triple negative and being young and everything, they kind of alluded to, they thought that it was going to be positive. It seemed like that was the way everybody was leaning towards, and kind of we're preparing for the worst with that because that means a lot of things like possible ovary cancer and breast cancer in the future and all this. So there's going to have a lot more ramifications to our treatments if it were positive, but it's negative. So now we just have to deal with this breast cancer we have right here and make decisions on that. And luckily, right after we found out the testing or genetics, before we go into the surgery, I'll say she also got tested for 311 other genetics for our fertility clinic, or fertility and embryos and all that. And she only, out of 311, she only had one that she tested that she's a carrier of, which is like biotin, and all I said would be a supplement. So that's good. Out of 311, she only had one as a carrier. So genetics, she's very good. Just bad luck on the breast cancer, but
It doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a genetic link. It just means that the larger genes that they know are associated with a higher breast cancer risk is not a mutation that I carry that would have caused my cancer.
okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about Dr. Gannon. We met with him just to see about the port, but because we knew about the genetics testing, we were able to tell him about that, and then he kind of gave her some answers on the future and everything like that. So she can talk a little bit more about what she found out from Dr. Gannon.
Originally, he had said that if my genetic result was negative, that he would advise a lumpectomy with radiation. After talking to the radiation therapist, radiation actually increases the risk of breast cancer in women definitely under 35 or 40. So he would advise a mastectomy rather than a lumpectomy. The good news there is that I will not need radiation. And I was probably already leaning towards a double mastectomy anyway. There's a greater risk of a separate breast cancer occurring in my healthy breast, and I would like to significantly reduce that risk. He said that the chance of a breast cancer occurring again increases by 0.5% every year, which is not something that they are normally worried about in older women, but because I'm only 28, I have a lot of years left to go. So he would be supportive of a decision if I decided to have a double mastectomy. But he told me to do some research, and we will talk about surgery options and reconstruction options a little bit further along in my treatment.
Yeah, so at least take one decision off the table, or now we just have to narrow that down a little bit because we had all options after our first meeting with the surgeon, but now he's taken away one, and what she's always said from the get-go, that was the one she was leaning towards anyway. So I guess it made the decision easier for her, and now we just have to decide on single or double and all that once we get farther along. And of course, we still have to talk with our oncologist and see what she says about the genetic tests and all this. So we were very excited about the good news of the genetic testing, that she was negative for those Angelina Jolie breast cancer ones. So that was exciting. That's why we wanted to get on here and make an update and share with everyone. But the next one will definitely now be after chemo, the next chemo treatment, right?
Mm.
All right, everybody, have a good week.
Bye!